Welcome back to Assen for round 3 of the World Superbike Championship. Out on circuit are the World Supersport riders. And you can see there the air temperature 9 degrees, still a wet circuit. Track temperature just 7 degrees, so very cold, very slippery. Lap record belongs to Keenan Sofawolu back in 2010. And pole position, Sam Lowes.
Is because they practiced and qualified during rain.
For the World Supersport race, Sam Lowes on pole position on the back Bogdanka PTR Honda. Brock Parks of Australia will start second on the 10 Kate Honda. Jules Cluzel, PTR Honda, teammate of Sam Lowes, will be starting in third ahead of Keenan Sofawolu, Fabian Fauré, Imre Toth, Sheridan Marias and Vladimir Leonov. There is Imre Toth running his own team, former MotoGP rider. And Sam Lowes, of course, this is second pole position of the season, looking to try and convert that pole into race victory. And thanks to his consistency so far in the 2012 championship, he has moved to within 13, 14 points. So it's all to play for. Fabian Fauré, of course, a former champion in this class. And track conditions, well, since the stoppage, of course, of that World Superbike race earlier on, we had a massive downpour. But the draining systems here at Assen are extremely good, and all we'll need is a little bit of wind before the conditions dry out. I can assure you that every single rider out on circuit for this World Supersport race will be riding on the wet option. But there is a possibility that it could dry out quite quickly here. And there you see power for number 17, Johan Lascaux, who unfortunately had a big crash at Imola during a testing session, is currently laid up in hospital in Barcelona. And all of us here at British Eurosport send our best regards to Johan Lascaux, who hopefully will be fighting fit again soon. Of course, Lascaux' teammate Tom Sykes earlier in race 1 had that technical issue which forced the Huddersfield rider to pull in. Not had much luck since he's taken all 3 pole positions so far in World Superbikes, but this is World Supersport. Next on the grid there, the Russian Vladimir Leonov on the Yamaha R6, and Vladimir it makes a change actually, because we're used to seeing, of course, Yamaha R6s up at the front of these World Supersport races, but it's a little bit of a change here. We've got Honda on pole, second, third, Kawasaki fourth, fifth, Honda in sixth, Kawasaki seventh, and then Leonov there in eighth position, the highest Yamaha. There's Massimo Roccoli. He'll be starting on the third row in ninth place, or also on the Yamaha. Beautifully turned out sky blue machine, easy to pick out. The Alfa Romeo course cars just going around the circuit there. And if anything, they can do a fine job of just clearing up this circuit and sweeping off most of the standing water. Sam Lowe's teammate there, Schultz of South Africa, starting in 10th place. And really from 10th place onwards, there is any number of rider that can pretty much pick up the points. It's really only the top 8 or 9 that you need to look out for that are likely to win these races. But of course, when it's wet here at Assen, anything can happen. Sam Lowe's then, we're yet to see him perform. He certainly did very well in wet qualifying. He managed to out-qualify Brock Parks by just a couple of tenths. Further down the grid, we see Valentin Debise, number 53, out there on the Honda. But it's going to be Sam Lowe's then that starts on pole position for the third World Supersport race of the season, with Brock Parks in second. Jules Cluzel will start in third place ahead of former champion Kenan Sofuoglu. Currently, the championship leader Fabien Foret on the Intermoto Step Kawasaki number 99 starts in fifth place. As we filter our way through the grid, we will be joining British Eurosport live, surely, with Jack Bernicle and James Whittam able to take you through all of the action here. So from Steve Day, I'll see you again soon, and we'll pitch you back to Jack and James.
The curious Dutch weather continues. We've got blue sky above us, and then to our left, it's absolutely pitch black. It's the plumber sky. There you are. You can see it behind the guys as they form up on the grid, how dark and lowering it is there. Sam lowering Lowe's on pole position ahead of Brock Parks, Cluzel and Sofuoglu. Foray on the second row of the grid alongside Toth, Marias and Leonov. And then Roccoli, Scholz, Debise and Metcher, followed by Antonelli, Iannuzzo. Can we put these up a bit slower, please? Ronan Kwambi and Roberto Tamburini. Tamburini celebrating his 20th World Supersport start. We've got Josh Day having done such a good time there. Mengo, Marconi and Polzer, Van Poppel and Chayani on the back row. Josh Day right back in 25th place, the very likeable, quiet American. Strangely enough, I've met up with an American photographer who's over from Indianapolis, and he comes over every year for the Dutch TT and the Isle of Man TT, a proper motorcycle enthusiast. He said he got some cracking shots from that first race in World Superbikes when everyone was together. While I've got a moment, a couple of birthdays. Certainly happy birthday to the beautiful Nikki Hoyles, and also to my great friend John, Wind Racing. They've been around with their clothing and stuff, and first in the off-road world and subsequently with their brake pads and other products in the road racing world. 30 years old this year, their company is. Brilliant.
Is that the beautiful Nicky Hoyles that's married to Rob Hoyles?
Correct.
Yeah, well, he's punching above his weight there, I'll tell you. Yeah, he's no Brad Pitt, isn't Rob, is he? But you're doing all right for yourself there, lad.
Just you to take a level-headed view of these, the birthday girls' achievements. Yeah. One thing that I must compliment Fabien Foret. Not only is he riding by far and away the most experienced man on the grid, his 130th World Supersport race here. He's had 14 race wins, including last time out at Imola. But the number 99 machine of Fabien Foret, he rode a blinder at the Bordeaux 24-hour endurance race last weekend. Riding for the Suzuki Endurance Racing Team on a GSX.
Oh, somebody off, sorry, Jack.
Gone down.
Yeah, that could be Jed Metcher, could be. I don't know. It looks...
Well, it looks like Jezza McWilliams' parting proceedings might have come to an early... See, you go and speak to a man on the grid like we decided, James, and we give him the unspeakable straight away.
It is Metcher. Unlucky. So, yeah, I apologise for that, because it looks like that might have been partly my fault.
Oops, and Imre Toth had gone off as well. Where did he? Oh, he had to go off to avoid. In fact, he just managed to miss the sliding and keep himself upright. So the Hungarian survives because he's qualified really strongly in 6th place on the 2nd row of the grid. What I was saying was that Fabien Foret, that Vincent Philippe crashed and broke his shoulder in about the 2nd hour of the race last weekend at Magny-Cours. And then Anthony Delhal and Fabien Foret swapped and rode back-to-back for the next 22.5 hours and finished 2nd. I mean, snatched the lead back off Kawasaki earlier in the Sunday morning. They eventually finished 2nd by 1 minute and 40 seconds after 24 hours racing.
I'll tell you what, me and Terry Reimer at the Le Mans 24-hour race in Suzuki, we actually went back-to-back for about 20 hours, and I tell you, 1 hour on, 1 hour off all day is hard work, it really is.
Well, Fabien seems to have recovered very well. He said it took him the first session to get reacquainted with a 600cc Kawasaki, but I was really impressed with the panache with which he rode a 1000cc GSX-R 1000. Yep. But he leads the World Championship, of course, on 45 points ahead of Sam Lowes on 31, all to play for. Roland Tenkate, his prediction of the weather conditions proved horribly accurate, but right now at least the rain has stopped and they've got the prospect of testing track conditions, but no rain on their visors. Lining up then on the front row, Lowes, Parks, Cluzel, Sofuoglu. 2nd row, Foret, Toth, Marias and Leonov. This is and how upbeat is Sam Lowes? You've got to love the Lincolnshireman for his upbeat outlook on life. And now he's ready. He's ready. He's fidgeting. He's on it.
I've got this lottery feeling again.
The lights when they go out, the race is on. 21 laps ahead of them. Perfect start by Sam Lowes. Yep. Couldn't have been better. He drives from the outside. Brock Parks on the Tenkate Honda tries to keep level with the Bogdanka Honda. And straight away we've got Kenan Sofuoglu peeling round the outside. Yep. Typical Sofuoglu move. Brock Parks spots the gap and he launches through. The team, of course, used to testing here, so Brock very familiar with the circuit.
Somebody's out of the seat, and that was nearly a big crash right in the middle of the pack.
I think that was number 22, Tamburini.
Right, okay.
And that was a huge moment. He seemed to have saved it. Meanwhile, at the front, everybody safely round to the De Strubben, which is the first place where you've got to be ultra cautious, and then onto the back straight. I suppose the point is then that you might just unleash the power and catch yourself out. You've got to be a bit careful.
But you're ready for it when you open the throttle. You know, you're kind of ready. The bike's sat more upright. It isn't going to kick out as quick sideways when it's more upright.
Brock Parks, this is his 85th World Supersport race. The now fairly veteran 30-year-old Australian leads the way then. Bike number 23 ahead of number 11 Sam Lowes, number 54 Kenan Sofuoglu. What a start for the Russian newcomer, number 65 Vladimir Leonov, the Moscovite on the Yachnik Motorsport Yamaha R6.
He's obviously just been getting the hot tips in racing in the wet from
Randy Mamela.
Who could ride in the wet.
That's it, and Randy, of course, because his a big mistake by Fabien Foret. Foret runs straight on and puts himself right back into the mid-pack with a lot of work to do. And he's alongside number 13, Dino Lombardi.
Looking at the long shot, and that I thought them two were clearing off a little bit.
Meanwhile, look at this. This is the 3rd and 4th place men. 54 is Kenan Sofuoglu, double world champion. The intriguing figure just behind him, number 65, Vladimir Leonov, who's a kind of refugee, if you like, from the Grand Prix racing and from the Italian 600cc Super Stock Championship. So this is his first year in Super Sport. Oh, a big moment for Jules Cluzel in 5th. Cluzel in 5th, 6th place for Imre Toth, Lorenzo Lanzi. Now I thought Lanzi started from, remember that name? 30 years old now, former World Superbike race winner with Xerox Ducati. Started 21st on the grid, but he was very quick in the dodgy conditions yesterday. He was one of the quickest during wet, damp qualifying yesterday. He's moved through to 7th place ahead of Sheridan Marias in 1 lap. So just watch out for the experienced Lorenzo Lanzi. These guys pussyfooting round the big left-hander, sorry. Hang on, that's my left hand, that's my right.
That's it, you got it right now.
1 lap in of a 21 lapper, and they're coming out of Distrubben more or less upright, James, and then gathering things together and gassing it down the back straight.
When you look, the man in 9th, Romain Lanous, is a full 10 seconds slower than the 2 leaders in one lap.
I'm looking for Forêt, 17th. Fabien Forêt has put himself under a great handicap in 17th place. As we look at some of the action back downfield, where Brock Parks and Sam Lowes have moved away at the front. Lowes decides to make a move up the inside. That's steady as you go.
I'll tell you what, it's raining out the back. That's full-on raining out the back of the circuit. That's like about a mile away from where we sat now, because it's a long, thin kind of layout of the circuit.
How many moments have we seen Sam Lowes have this weekend, James? And those are the only ones we've seen.
Here we go. We're going to see it again. Yeah, and that's just when you squeeze the throttle and when you're a little bit cranked over like that, it will kick out quite quickly sideways.
What Sam did have on yesterday was an enormous high side. That it was like a freestyle. Whoops, and we have got a faller here. It was like a freestyle motocrosser, absolutely vertical above the handlebars at full stretch before he got flicked over the front of the bike. So Sam Lowes, unabashed, leads the way from Brock Parks, Kenan Sofuoglu, Vladimir Leonov sets the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 3.7 in 4th place. The front 4 have cleared off at the moment, with Cluzel 5th, Lanzi in 6th.
The Kawasaki that's gone down the road, I think.
Oh, it's a very neat style. The lad vaults back to his feet. Oh, and it was Josh Day who went down. He's been having a troubled weekend, the American. Sheridan Marias, you're losing out there to number 22, Roberto Tamburini. Tamburini in a very distinctive red, flapping kind of over jacket. Generally speaking, all the guys running downfield there are taking it very, very cautiously indeed. Sam Lowes hopefully is taking it to a degree as well. Kenan Sofuoglu, remember he had an injured ankle he was suffering with at the last round at Imola, looking a lot healthier, able to walk unaided this weekend. And here he is. I was waiting for that plunge through underneath his old rival, Brock Parks. These two have raced together for a long time. Do
you know when lean angles has been achieved as little as we're seeing here, there's just no grip. There can be no grip. I've seen in normal wet conditions when there's as much water down as this, but when it's grippier than this, you see him getting the knee down, no problem. And now that's about a foot from the knee going onto the tarmac.
Right down at the far end, at the Daukerschlote, they come round the right-hander ever so gently, and then
another
the
crash,
standing water. Oh, there is that's the fall in the background, the earlier one.
Yeah.
Through Mayvenmere. And with Kenan Sofuoglu now
he's the man
well
now.
And truly threatening in 2nd place.
Yep.
Fabien Forêt, of course, leads the championship on 45 points from Lowes on 31, and Sofuoglu, first race winner of the series in Phillip Island, on 25. And a lot depends on what, of course, on what can be done by the championship leader. And do you know what? He may have. That wasn't the right leathers. He's dropped off our top 18, the championship leader, Fabien Forêt. So we've lost Forêt off the top 18 at the moment. We don't know where he is. Imre Toth sets his fastest lap of the race as we look back. Oh, steady, boys. And that's elbow to elbow between number 16, Cluz. And at that moment, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I caught the number, but not quite well enough. And Mr. Whittam has now completely messed up our screen. I have no idea. Well, we're back on it. And I think it was number 57, Lorenzo Lanzi, who I thought Lorenzo's experience would come into play here. He's now nudged his way through into 5th place. So Lanzi goes through to 5th place and has already in the background pulled out about 100 metres on Jules Cluzel, 22nd place, Fabien Forêt. So Forêt at the moment is 30 seconds down in 22nd place, and he really needs to regroup because his championship lead is in mortal danger.
Yeah, and this is, nobody really knows how fast to go. That's why when somebody overtakes you and they're going a little bit quick, you can sometimes in these conditions just go, yeah, you know what, I'll just go a little bit quicker. And this is what we're seeing. Or
they like Sofuoglu seems to have immediately kind of stalled slightly and thought, oops, a daisy, this is just a bit tricky, and Sam's crept away from him again. Sofuoglu was 0.8 of a second quicker on the last lap.
Yeah, but not on this lap. He actually pulled a bit of time back out on him as Sam Lowes. And
how much can you see when you're where Vladimir Leonov is right now?
Yeah, you're all right. Yeah, you're concentrating more on the bike in front as opposed to where you're on track. You've got to be really careful you don't just clip a curb and miss something because you're watching the bike in front, because anything can happen. The bike in front can just, you know, slide off. You don't want to get involved if this is an incident.
He's interested in making a move, and Brock Parks kind of defended his line and then moved out a bit, and Leonov was just hovering on his right hand side. As they cross the line then, they're very old. Sam Lowes 2 minutes 3.3. He really got a quick lap in on that one. Lanzi 2 minutes 2.75. Could yet be the danger man. Number 57, Lorenzo Lanzi, on his comeback to world racing on the Pro Race Honda CBR 600.
Yeah, and that's after 4 laps of 21 for a long time left in this race.
Behind him, Cluzel, Imre Toth, Nemeth, so the Eastern Europeans going well. Baldolini, the Italian, is 9th. Romain Lanous of France is 10th, ahead of Vito Iannuzzo on the Suriano Triumph. Andrea Antonelli, the American PJ Jacobsen, who's running for PTR Honda, is in 14th place, ahead of Sheridan Marias, who's gone backwards, plummeted backwards down the field, but not quite as quickly backwards as Fabien Foret, the championship leader, who's right out of contention at the moment. 23, Brock Parks. Beautiful shot of Parks on the Tenkate Honda, running in 3rd place, just ahead of Vladimir Leonov, who of course is running a Yamaha in those distinctive red and chip racing. We've had currently 5 laps completed, so we're still just about, we're right on quarter race distance at the moment. 21 laps ahead of these guys. Sam having another moment. He lapped last in about 1.3 seconds quicker
than Sofoglou, and that's not such of a worry. If you know it gets to 3 seconds quicker, then you start to worry a little bit.
He was even quicker than Lanzi, who's carving time out of these guys.
There he is in the back of the shot, just there.
Popping up in the background. Cluzel's steady in 6th, Nemeth in 7th, Baldolini going a bit quicker in 8th, who has passed Imre Toth. And still no sign of championship leader Fabien Foret bothering the point scorers.
Yep, Lanzi's still there. I was just going to say he's gone, but he's there.
Leonov, number 65, 3rd in the Italian 600cc Superstock Championship last year for the Yasnik.
Nearly on the deck there, Jack, and you can't lean over on the paint.
Dropped a precautionary foot, riding for the Yasnik Motorsport team, who also run Dakota Mamola in Italy. And that cost him a lot of time.
Yep.
As he crosses the line now, you can see that Lorenzo Landi 8 up, and Lorenzo Landi with a 2 minutes 1.14 second lap on that lap. But also Parks dipped into the 2 minute 2s with a 2 minute 2.5, and is right with the Kawasaki of number 54, Kidon Sofoglou.
Yeah, Lowes now pulling 3 seconds a lap on Sofoglou.
This is going to be a long demand, more the mental concentration is the big thing.
Mate, that gets you. That's what gets you. It's the fact that you know you can't make one single mistake, otherwise it'll end up badly, and that is what gets you. And that physically drains you as well, you know. Yes. It really does. These races are long races. Remember, loads of times in conditions like this, I'm looking at my lap signals and it seems to be going, oh, Sam Lowes off. Sorry, Jack.
Sam Lowes was going strong. His last lap was 2 minutes 0.8 seconds, and it looks like we might be denied another British victory this afternoon. Sam's gone down at just around quarter distance.
These things have starters, and in this championship they're allowed to get going again.
Oh, and he's going to give it a go.
It's going to be the front, I think. Oh, no, the back.
The back went. Ooh, and that's his second high side of a battle-torn weekend, that. Now, has the bike survived? God, it didn't look like it could.
He's done well if it has. If it's got all its levers and footrests and controls on there, he's done well.
Well, Sofoglou now leads the way, number 54, the Turk, who was so keen to do well in front. Do you know what the danger man is? Just check out the man 4th in your picture through the spray. Lorenzo Lanzi.
Yep.
And you know, he's one of the quietest, sweetest blokes. His World Superbike career. Oh, look, here he comes. Just like that. Slides past Leonov.
And do you know what? When you've caught and you got to the back of a group that you've caught 4 or 5 seconds or 6 seconds back on, that's such a good feeling. You think there's nothing can stop you getting by him because you've pulled so much time out of them.
such a quiet, unassuming, unlikely motorcycle racer, and a guy who has been a winner in World Superbike and for Xerox Ducati, and who's, to be perfectly honest, his career as a World Superbike racer was kind of derailed by the untimely death of his father.
Yeah.
He and his father were very close.
Yeah.
He lost his dad suddenly, and he was never quite the same rider again. Well, perhaps at 30 he's regrouped a bit and he's back.
Although we once shared a hotel with him somewhere, and I remember him putting orange juice on it.
He uses apple juice on his Cocoa Pops.
Well, that's not right. That's not right. That's not the breakfast of World Cup.
It was a curious looking mulch.
He's through to second
he's
now.
Now into second place.
And we've got back markers.
So Lorenzo Lanzi moves into second place, and this race begins to tighten up. Sofuoglu looks over his shoulder and finds a completely new Honda right behind him and thinks, where did he come from?
Who's that?
Yes, who's that? I don't remember him. I don't remember him.
And then he'll think, oh yeah, it's that guy who puts apple juice on it.
It was James Towson who was able to give us the secret of that strange sight. So this is Lorenzo Lanzi carves his way through. So a strong ride then by Lorenzo Lanzi, and he moves through to the front, and number 57, the quiet man from Cesena, now leads the way. There's still Vladimir Leonov is looking keenly for a way to get his sparkling green and red, very Eastern European Yamaha past Brock Park.
Get this, Lowe's has got going again, and
he's in 13th
because everybody's spread out. You know when there's 10, 12 seconds lap being pulled out each lap from the fast to the slower guy.
So his last lap was 2 minutes 49.7, including a fairly hearty crash.
Yes, and he's still in 13th. And let me tell you, he ain't going to waste no time getting past 3 or 4 of those in front, because he's lapped 7 seconds a lap quicker than those before the crash.
But how on earth has the top of the bike survived?
Somebody else is off. Was that your man number 38?
That's Balázs Nemet, the man from Budapest, was doing really well, James. He was running 6th ahead of Baldolini and Toth, and he's cast it away. So Cluzel will move back into 5th place. Baldolini will move 6th.
Lanzi's away. I told you, when you catch a big group in these conditions, you know, you've already got the confidence to go through them and get away. So
Lorenzo Lanzi, a man who put it well and truly over Noriyuki Haga when they were racing together in World Superbikes, rode really quite brilliantly at the peak of his time in World Superbikes. Has certainly got the better of everybody else at the moment, and he's not looking. He hasn't really had a moment. Well, he did just then.
Yeah, but do you know what? You know, his time in World Superbike as a factor had it. He never had the look. He never looked like he thought himself was meant to be there somehow.
Absolutely right,
you know,
James.
I could never.
He never had that kind of swagger that Michel Fabrizio, his successor, had.
As good as Fabrizio, in my opinion, as a rider.
I agree.
But just never had that. I'm a factory rider, me, and strutting through the paddock kind of look to him.
No, never. No, he would kind of. Oh, look at this. Through to 3rd place goes Vladimir Leonov. So the man from Donetsk looking like if he stays tipped, well, he actually could threaten the Turk now,
I've got to tell you about Kenan Sofuoglu. I met 4 lovely London Turks on the Chris Walker Race School on Thursday at Mallory, and they were real keen Kenan Sofuoglu fans. They had banners, they'd all got Kenan Sofuoglu replica helmets, and these guys had some cash. And they said, oh, we're going out to Assen, can't wait, give us a mention. And I said, oh, going out on your bikes, it's a bad forecast. No, we've got a big motor. We ain't going on bikes.
Don't be daft.
No, yeah, good lads they are.
We leave that to mugs like you after you've missed your plane.
Exactly.
Yes, did we tell you, folks? Mr. Whittam forgot his passport on Friday and couldn't board the EasyJet out of Liverpool with me.
And I have mocked people for much less.
But then you were able to mock me because I punctured the hire car when driving on my own on the way to Assen and never quite made it. Here we are then, 12 laps remaining out of 21, 9 laps complete so far. Lorenzo Lanzi has a lead of 4.1 seconds over this 3-way battle for the podium positions. 3 into 2 doesn't go, so it's between Sofuoglu, Leonov and Parks. And then Jules Cluzel is lapping, he's about 24 seconds behind the leader.
If you just get a chance, just notice how long the knee sliders are on Kenan Sofuoglu and some of the other riders as well, because you put a double thickness one on, and that is because the lean angles. Here we go. That is the pass, lands it on Sofoğlu. Loads of back markers everywhere. Yeah, because you use longer knee sliders, or some riders do, because the lean angles are never going to be as much in the wet as they are in the dry. So you put the long ones on so you can still get your knee down. A lot of riders actually use it as a gauge, you know, also to lift the front up if they get the slide. So that's Kenneth Sofoğlu's got the longer knee sliders on.
And it looks like Sam Lowes has crashed again. Sam Lowes has crashed again and gone out. He was running 13th. And Sam Lowes has gone down again as we get in amongst some more back markers. And your talk of knee sliders just made me realise that it's, in fact, very pronounced on the race leader, Lorenzo Lanzi. He's got a proper stick-em-out job on there. And already in amongst the back markers here, as they not only have to deal with track conditions, but also ride inside and outside the guys that are being lapped. Vladimir Leonov just looking for an alternative line. He doesn't want to do it through that lake.
You know, when it's as wet as this, there's no real even drying line, you know. So you can easily go off line to overtake back markers generally in conditions like this.
Scant consolation for Sam Lowes is the fact that he set the fastest lap, 2 minutes 0.751. At the moment, Lanzi's lapping at the front of this race at 2 minutes 2.86. Sorry, 2 minutes 2.97 on the last lap, so super consistent.
Yeah.
These guys are running 5.8 seconds behind, running mid 2 minute 4s. And then behind them, 2 minute 5.4 for Brock Parks in 4th place. And they're the guys who are really way ahead of the pack.
Absolutely,
in this kind of steady Eddie World Supersport race at Assen. Sofoğlu, well, he's very good at just kind of parking up and keeping someone behind him, just maintaining a steady enough trot to make it difficult for Leonov, although 24 years old, a man of not great, well, I suppose pretty considerable experience, but not able to find a way through.
He's not that, you know. Leonov's thinking, you know what, I can go the same pace as Sofoğlu. He's sitting a good pace, he seems pretty safe, I'll sit behind him, not too much trouble. I'm never going to win this thing unless Lanzi crashes. So, you know, I'm going to sit here and then have a right old push on the last lap. That would be my thinking.
Okay, so you think that that's what Vladimir is probably sensibly doing at the moment?
Just about to prove me wrong. Here we go. Oh dear, dear. Thanks for that, pal.
So Vladimir Leonov, who scored 10 points and lies 11th in the championship, those 10 points were scored with a 6th place in Imola last time out, creeps through just like that, really. Really nice move on Sofoğlu. Keenan didn't look too keen on just kind of blocking his path.
And this, do you know what? This is quite important for Sofoğlu. He needs to capitalise on the fact that championship leader Faure is out.
And second place man Lowes is out.
Yeah.
So it's a big race for him.
It is, yeah. He needs to, you know, again, difficult balancing act between pushing on, getting, you know, maybe 5 or 4 more points, and ended up on his JAXA.
Well, right at the moment, he'd move to 41 points, which would put him 10 ahead of Sam Lowes, but 4 behind Fabien Faure if he stays third. But I've got a feeling he's not the sort of man to settle for anything.
Here he goes.
And here he goes.
Yep.
Straight away, he decides he's going to. Ooh, and Leonov had to grab a late bit of front brake there to avoid running into the Kawasaki.
Good on the brakes, is Sofoğlu.
So number 54, Keenan Sofoğlu on the Delta Fin Lorenzini Kawasaki ZX-R6 leads that R6 Yamaha of the Jasnik racing team. And look, watch him touch the brake, just have to grab a bit more brake, Leonov, which must have felt not quite secure, but I tell you what, the Russian those eyes look pretty focused there in 3rd place now. There's Sofoğlu. So right now we've got Italy, Turkey, Russia and Australia and France represented in the first 5 riders out there. By this Strubben, you can see there's no grip there at all.
And still only half race distance.
Oh, right, yes, you're right. So just 10 laps, say 10 and a half complete out of 21. Absolutely half race distance. Baldellini's 6th. Januzzo on the Suriano Racing Triumph is 7th ahead of Antonelli's Honda in 8th. And then Van Poppel, local man of course, in 9th place on Yamaha, and Imre Toth. That's number 26, Twan Van Poppel, and comes from Bergerac on the TRG YZR6.
Yeah,
well, I don't know how to pronounce TWAN. Have you got any ideas? Twan Van Poppel.
Yeah.
Twan Van Poppel. sounds like a cue for a song. Meanwhile, Lorenzo Lanzi, just singing his way along at the front, is 8.3 seconds clear. He's lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker than anybody else.
And looks settled. Yeah.
Oh, really impressive ride from Lanzi. He leads the way now. Yeah, he's got just over 8 seconds advantage, and he doesn't look as if he's liable to do anything too silly. He never did, actually.
No, he didn't. He really didn't, no. Except putting the apple juice on his cocoa.
But that wasn't when he was racing his motorcycle. P1. I tell you what, this would be quite a day if he sustained this for the Pro Race Honda team.
Yeah, and his pace has slowed just slightly. It's actually Sofoglou and Leonov and Parks that's just up the pace a little bit, especially those pair, Sofoglou and Leonov.
Yeah, they've gone into 2-minute threes.
It's like the pair of them don't know how fast to go when they're in front, and it's like it's banjo in between the two.
They kind of box up again as soon as they overtake it.
They need each other to kind of increase the pace a little bit.
Baldolini set his fastest lap of the race and has gone 5th ahead of Jules Cluzel. So two refugees, if you like, from the kind of, a big moment there, exiting. That's why they're so careful through to Strubben. A big moment almost on seats, number 65, Leonov, and might just give Kenan Sofoglou a false sense of security because he glanced over his shoulder and found he'd got a bit of a gap suddenly.
Yeah, didn't know he wouldn't know he'd got it just in that corner.
Baldolini on the leading Soriano power team by Soriano Triumph Daytona 675, now in 5th place. 27 years old now. He also a former Grand Prix rider, spent 5 years in 250 Grand Prix before moving into Moto 2 in 2010. So again, a former rival of Jules Cluzel. They know one another well, and that was the moment
that didn't. He kind of panicked a bit there. It didn't look.
James, I think I can understand him panicking, to be honest.
It looked like we were going to jump off.
57 still at the front, the plain red and white Pro Racing Honda of Lorenzo Lanzi. Last lap round 9.9, we could call that 10. Round it out at a 10-second lead ahead of Sofoglou, the former champion. Leonov 3rd, Parks 4th, Baldolini in 5th. Let's check the times out this lap, and quicker. It's just very gradually going quicker. 2 minutes 1.867 on that lap.
If you don't have any moments and you're smooth, you do get a little bit more confident as the race goes on, as well as the fact that you kind of learn where the grip is. But he doesn't have to do anything silly, and he'll know that.
So Lanzi on lap 13, lucky for some, leads the way by 10.6 seconds. Sofoglou again quicker, 2 minutes 2.6 on that lap, but because of his big moment, Leonov has dropped to a 2 minutes 3.6. Parks on 2 minutes 4, 2 minutes 3.7 from Baldolini, but he's 21.6 seconds adrift of the 4th place man, and now 4 seconds clear of his old rival Jules Cluzel, the Frenchman. Andrea Antonelli, whose manager Michael Hill is here, is in 8th place. And Foray came into the pits after 7 laps and never went back out. So we've lost the championship leader. And at the moment, if Kenan Sofoglou scores 20 points, he would be dead level in the table with Fabien Foray on 45 apiece.
Yeah, and I reckon I've just seen in the background, it's Valentine de Bies that's going to be next to be lapped. He's in 19th. So your leader, 57, Lanzi, has lapped everybody up to 19th so far.
So another rider about to be lapped. We're looking back at number 8, Alessandro Antonelli. He's running in 8th place. There is Antonelli. Just ahead of him is Vito Iannuzzo on the 2nd of the Soriano Triumphs, are having a good outing, running 5th and 7th at the moment.
Yeah, you know what, that 675 Triumph, because it's a little bit bigger CCs, a little bit more mid-range, only 3 cylinder up for it's quite grunty, and in these conditions they are a nice thing to ride, I've got to say.
Well, certainly it looks pretty comfortable for the for Vito Iannuzzo, a man who's been round in this championship for a long time, of course.
And he's been around a long time generally. Superstock originally is where he sort of came through. Yeah. Superstock 1000.
Yeah, won the Superstock 1000 category. This is Jules Cluzel, number 16. Cluzel, one of the big PTR garage. He's running the PTR Honda. 23-year-old Frenchman. And he's in, at the moment, in 6th place behind Baldolini. Although Baldolini hasn't crossed the line just yet. I'm just looking for him going past us now. Yes, he goes past us now. So Baldolini crosses the line on the Soriano team Triumph. Then Cluzel 4 seconds further adrift on the number 16 Honda. And then back up the road a piece, Iannuzzo 7th. Antonelli on the red and blue bike, number 8, is in 8th place. And Antonelli, who's a former Superstock 1000 racer, is just beginning to close this gap a bit. Number 8, Andrea Antonelli from Castigliano del Lago.
Hang on. Yep, he is.
What?
That's no Cluzel in. Where's Cluzel?
He's running in 6th place.
Yeah.
There's number 25 just going out the picture, Baldolini. He's Cluzel in 6th place. Then Iannuzzo, they're all setting their faster times at the moment. They've gone into 2-minute 3s, these guys. Van Poppel in 9th place is on a 2-minute 6. But the front 8 are all now dropping their times quite substantially. Except Lanzi, Lorenzo Lanzi has settled into a kind of 2 minutes 2 kind of bracket. Must be getting well bordered, James, knows just where he is, doesn't have to rush.
Yeah, he stayed around 10 seconds now, the gap between Lanzi and Sofoglou for some laps. And yeah, he needs to watch his board though, because that last lap Sofoglou was well over a second, 1.3 seconds quicker. And what with 7 laps to go, 6 laps to go.
It looks to be raining down the far end of the track, but there isn't any rainfall right now in front of us in pit lane.
Still really wet though.
It's really wet, but no actual rain falling. Sofoglou goes past 2 minutes 1.2, took another 1.3 seconds out, reduced the deficit to 8 seconds on the leader Lanzi, and at the moment we have 6 laps to go.
Lanzi can just about afford that kind of...
Yes, I thought that.
Yeah.
I like Kin and Sofoglu's new Gearlink Kawasaki colours. I think they look very smart.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Racing for Delta Fin Kawasaki now. Won his 2 World Championships, of course, with the 10 Carter Honda team. As he tiptoes his way around.
Good, solid rider, Kenan Sofoglou now. You know he's going to, whatever the conditions, had a little bit of an unlucky start to the season, actually, by his standards. But any condition, any track, he knows his way around. He gets the best from the bike. Good.
When he was originally World Supersport champion in 2007, 8 race wins he enjoyed then. And behind him, Vladimir Leonov hasn't given up the chase. He was only a 10th or so slower on the last lap. The Russian is sticking right into his task there.
Yeah, he is.
Brock Parks has settled for about 2 minutes 2.6 second lap, so he's 4.2 seconds adrift at this point. Brock Parks, who's got a little lad who's a dead ringer from his for his mum, and then a 4-month-old baby girl has arrived as well and is visiting the racetrack for the first time this weekend. Lovely to see.
You make it sound like they got it through the post.
Well, I'd say that was a possibility, except she looks a dead ringer for her dad. Lorenzo Lanzi, 8 seconds in the lead on the last lap. Let's check it out this time around as we watch Leonov once more close the gap under braking on the green Kawasaki. Leonov, number 65, running 3rd. 2 minutes 0.7 and an increase in the pace then from Lorenzo Lanzi reasserts his lead to 8.9 seconds. He's got control of this, but Sofoglou just lost out a bit to this man Leonov on that lap, and for his relative lap of 4-stroke experience, he's looking quite impressive, Leonov. Yeah,
you get the impression that Lanzi's getting really good lap signals here.
Yes. Lanzi, Sofoglou, Leonov run 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Brock Parks picks up his pace in 4th place. Number 57, Lorenzo Lanzi. Lorenzo Lanzi, to my surprise, has slotted in 10 World Supersport races somewhere in his CV. I didn't realise he'd raced in World Supersport, so this his 11th outing, and it would be a bit of a breakthrough race for him if he produced anything that was a rostrum finish, because he's not had one of those before.
Yeah, Lanzi's team, about half the team are the staff that worked with Gino Rea before.
Are they?
Yep.
So he's probably got quite a good squad of lads behind him then. Gino, of course, has skedaddled into Moto 2, where he's having a fairly rocky time of things at the moment. For such a promising young tearaway.
Yeah, exactly.
Checking back, Baldolini is in 5th, Cluzel 6th, Iannuzzo in 7th, just ahead of the pursuing Antonello. And then we've got Van Poppel. And the man rounding out the top 10 is another of the Eastern European contingent, Stuart Voskamp from Dingwall. I beg your pardon, he's a Netherlander. He's on the Canby Racing Team Suzuki. I got that wrong. I saw his foreshortened name. It looked like Voskow on our timing screen.
Yeah, you saw the V and just assumed.
Tamburini 11th. Lanús is 12th. Ciani from the last row of the grid is 13th. Imre Toth is 14th. And PJ Jacobsen, the American guest rider for the PTR Honda team, is running in 15th place, ahead of Sheridan Marias.
New fastest lap for Lanzi, dip below the 2-minute mark now.
159.828, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So back out to 9.7 second lead. And this kind of, this is a really fascinating contest between Turkey and Russia for second place. They're just wheedling round. It looks like
I like
to wheedle.
Every week a new word.
It's just the fact that, you know, it's such a balance between you're in a race, but you can't afford to overstep the mark.
Yeah, and you don't know where that mark is.
No, you have no idea where that mark is.
I can't tell you how difficult it is to set a pace. It really is.
Lorenzo Lanzi, well, I tell you, he's set a pace, hasn't he? What a comfortable pace he's set as well. Kenan Sofuoglu, last time he won the World Supersport Championship in 2010, before he absconded to Moto 2, he finished 3rd at Assen behind Eugene Laverty and Ewan Lescores. And his race wins came in Portimao, Miller, Brunel. So it was more consistency than winning the championship. Quite a hefty dose of second places. Well, he's running second at the moment, and that would be good enough to put him plumb level with Fabien Foray in the title chase.
Yep.
I wonder if Fabien will think twice about going off to do a Boldor 24-hour endurance race in future before when he's leading a world championship. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. I have to say, he showed astonishing mettle as a 1000cc superbike racer at the Boldor. He was really, really impressive. Talking about impressive, Lanzi now completes 18 laps out of 21. 3 laps to go then for the Italian, well, relative veteran, making his comeback onto the world stage, but on 600s rather than 1000s.
And I think he's lapped everybody up to 13th now.
Who's this coming into sight? Oh, is it Ciani?
It could be.
Yeah, I think it might be.
27, is it?
Because it's Ciani's such an unfamiliar figure to us. I think it is Thomas Ciani on the Swiss rider on the Kuja Racing Honda. And then we've got a bunch of lads just ahead now, including number 9, PJ Jacobsen, on the Bogdanka Honda, standing in for the Polish rider who got injured in that squad. Oh, now James, is this a big temptation? When you're a back marker, you've been lapped, and you suddenly think, I'll hook up with him and see if I can haul in the others.
It would be a mistake, I think.
Well, it looks to me like there's an excitable Ciani who's...
He did look to be having a bit of a dig there, didn't he? Yeah, I think he is. I think you're right.
Because look, just up ahead, you can see... is that Imre Toth who's got past him? Yes, number 10, Imre Toth, who qualified 10th. Who qualified 6th, sorry, is just ahead of him in 13th place. There is number 54, Sofuoglu, in 2nd. Do you know what? Given Kenan Sofuoglu's impressively skewed view of life, he probably still views himself as a potential winner here. He's probably thinking, if I can just dash on a bit and put the pressure on Lanzi, anything could happen.
Well, we've seen several leaders
go down.
And so you never know. Yep, it's not over till the flag.
Number 65 still in 3rd place, Vladimir Leonov. Very short in experience on a Supersport bike. That's what makes this ride so strong by the Russian. He did actually, in the Superstock 600 Italian Championship last year, he was a winner at Misano, Mugello and Vallelunga, on his way to finishing 3rd in that series. But James, there's quite a lot different, isn't there, to riding one of these full-on super sports machines against a super stock 6?
Yes, it is. Yeah, there's perhaps 20 brake horsepower more power, which is about sort of 15% more power, and everything's just a little bit better. Internals on the forks can be altered, shockers can be altered. You can do a lot more under the regs of super bike than you can with super stock. Sorry, super sport than you can with super stock.
So Leonov runs third. Brock Park sets his personal fastest lap of his race with a 2 minutes 1.7, but he's 9.2 seconds behind in 4th place. And this is Sheridan Moraes coming up. Oh, he's going to get lapped shortly.
Yep.
So Sheridan Moraes running, the South African running number 32 on the second of the Delta Fin Lorenzini Kawasaki's, in danger of being sucked up, as is number 13 Dino Lombardi.
And can you believe Moraes would have possibly been a real front runner in the dry, and now he's getting lapped by somebody who would have almost certainly beaten.
Oops. And I don't know if he knows he's there. Oh, Sheridan had no idea, did he, that the leader was upon him, and got bumped off track. So Moraes just has to settle himself down. He went further onto the gravel than we could tell then. He was running in 14th place.
Lands it to the inside. Sheridan hasn't seen him. He has now. And once you get put offline in the way, you can't just crank the bike over again.
Yes.
You know, you've got to run on.
And that means Lombardi goes past him into 14th place. So, and with PJ Jakobsen not far back, Moraes in danger of not scoring any points at all. Meanwhile, the man that he's just shoulder charged just carries on his impeccable way, looking just a bit indestructible at the moment.
Absolutely, yep.
I knew he did when he pulled that round the outside move on Norrie Haga to win a World Superbike race at the Lausitz String, you know. So Lanzi. They're pretty pleased with that. 20 laps complete. Onto his final lap goes the 30-year-old Italian. He leads Kenan Sofuoglu by 10.5 seconds with 1 lap to go. He doesn't look inclined to back off. He's obviously comfortable at this speed.
Yeah, I think he is.
Unlike dear little Sam Lowes, who did have a lot of moments out there while he was racing, I've never seen anything so much as a twitch, really. He's just looked really solid and comfortable.
Sam Lowes had gone pretty quick though before he went down.
You know, he had gone quick.
If he'd have stayed up doing that pace, he would have got quicker, and I don't think Lanzi would have caught him.
You know, pace, staying up.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
balance.
I know. Yeah, and it is a balance. Yeah.
And it shows. I guess it shows Lanzi's sheer experience that he's been able to balance it that well. But we're at this late stage. We've got a crest-fallen fallout.
Yeah,
oh, it's Victor
Yanutso off the Triumph.
Yanutso was running strongly on the second Triumph, running in 6th or 7th place. And he was running 7th. Antonello's gone through in 7th place on bike number 8.
Oh,
Antonelli, sorry.
He went off the track.
That went down suddenly, didn't it?
Yeah, it went. Best part of sort of 70 or 80 miles an hour would have said that.
You know, can I apologise to Andrea Antonelli for calling him Antonello for the last half hour? The man from Castiglione del Lago, which is a place that has he's a former motocrosser. Not surprisingly, because Castiglione del Lago was one of the great motocross Grand Prix tracks in Italy a few years back.
You'll have been there a few times, won't you?
I'll have been there, correct. Taking some great pics there as well. 57, Lorenzo Lanzi still leads the way, and he looks like he's going to take victory. His 11th appearance in World Supersport, resulting in his first ever win, and a win for the Pro Racing Honda team.
Lapped everybody up to 11th. Can you believe?
Well, what an impressive performance. And I bet he doesn't demonstrate very much. There he is, stands up, calm as you like. Gives well done, Lorenzo Lanzi. Welcome back. Astonishing performance.
Banging his chest, he's signifying some kind of art defect.
Number 54, Kenan Sofuoglu finishes in 2nd place and goes joint. Oh, look at that wheelie from Sofuoglu. Goes joint top of the table. Vladimir Leonov takes his debut rostrum finish for both himself and the Yaznik Yamaha team. 4th place for Tenkate Honda's Brock Parks. Meantime, Gino Rea's ex-crew
can't really believe it, I don't think.
No, they can't.
First Russian on a rostrum?
Probably as the first point scorer in 250 GPs, and I think probably the first Russian on a rostrum in a Supersport World Championship race. Brock Parks finisher. Baldolini, Alex Baldolini crosses the line on this Power by Suriano Racing Triumph in 5th place. Jules Clauzel in 6th, while Lorenzo Lanzi, who must seem like a bit of a kind of a bit of a kind of stranger. He's got a kind of road-going pair of Arlen Ness leathers on, and he's being congratulated by people who won't be sure who he is.
I've got to be honest, I thought that earlier on. I thought they are off-the-peg leathers. It's just had his name and a few badges stitched on, I'm sure.
What a great ride. Yep. I'm really impressed by that. Honestly, we can't tell you what a sweet little bloke he is. And just kind of, you know, sloped around the place even as a factory rider, keeping his head down, keeping out of the limelight. And that, like James said, it never quite gave the impression he believed he belonged. Well, he belongs in. Well, look at that. I'm just wondering if his hand's a bit cold, James. It's a chilly day out there, and they've been out there at a steady speed for a long time.
I think he was actually signifying to some marshals that he was actually a bit sketchy.
Oh, right.
That's how I saw it anyway.
And Kenan always finds, that's probably from your London mates, Kenan always finds a Turkish flag from somewhere. Whether he's won or not, get that Turkish flag up.
I think he stayed on, finished second, he's joint leader in the championship now, and I think that's enough to celebrate, I think. Just stayed on.
They are a fine pair of ill-fitting leathers, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's a stocky little fella, but he's not that flabby.
Well, I was just going to say, they look like off the shelf, off the peg pair of leathers, and he definitely isn't off the peg shape.
He's not.
When you see him pottering around the paddock.
So Lorenzo Lanzi, welcome back. Pro Racing Honda victory ahead of Kenan Sofuoglu, with Vladimir Leonov in third, Brock Parks fourth for Tenkate Honda, Alex Baldolini's triumph in fifth ahead of Cluzel, Antonelli, Van Poppel and Tamburini. Romain Lanous finishes 11th ahead of Tom Ciani, PJ Jacobsen, Marconi, and Sheridan Marias just recovers in time from his off-track excursion to secure a point for 15th place. And as they roll back into Parc Fermé, it's been another survival of the fittest, the most complete, and the most fortunate here. None more so than Lorenzo Lanzi, getting a well-deserved applause, taking a bow as he passes in front of the huge grandstand here and down pit lane for a rather wonderful debut victory in World Supersport racing. Not such a good day out for Fabien Foret. He retires but remains joint leader of the championship, and of course with only 45 points on the joint leadership of the championship, this man Lorenzo Lanzi on 25 points is suddenly in the fray, really. Absolutely. You have to say.
Yeah.
So 45 points each, Sofuoglu and Foret, 31 for Lowe's, 29 Parks, 26 Leonov, 25 for Lanzi and Ronan Kwambi. Interesting. 24 for Baldolini, 23 for Cluzel, and in 10th place 20 points for Roberto Tamburini. The new joint leader in the championship, the 2010 champion. Here he comes, the terrible Turk Kenan Sofuoglu. And the Delta Fin team, very happy to see him. Lorenzini, of course, long-time runners of Kawasaki's, Yamaha's in World Supersport, moved to Kawasaki and now joined with Delta Fin to run the official Kawasaki factory team in World Supersport. A good ride by him. So everybody just hangs around and enjoys the reflected glory. Oh, hang on, who's this coming? A nice way to get a lift in.
I think that looks, I'm not sure that's, is that not Leonov, no?
No, it's not.
Is he in Parc Fermé?
It's Twan van Poppel, obviously a popular Dutch lad,
giving a lift to
his mate, whoever his fallen mate was. I love the name Twan. Coming alongside number 27, Thomas Ciani, the Swiss rider. There you are, you can get off now.
There he
is, Lorenzo. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Back into the fray. Back into the fray here at the magnificent Assen.